Hi everyone, so it's quite late in the evening, but I just made myself a little study snack, which is in my painted bowl. It's just some blueberries and cucumber sliced up. I'm also having some pancakes and also like this cheese pesto sandwich because I felt like it. And now I'm watching YouTube on my laptop that's standing right over there whilst cleaning up my kitchen and all that. Because I've got my first exam in 4 days. I really don't feel ready for that yet. I've got my blueberry cucumber from yesterday here. Yogurt in here. Well, it's not yogurt, but it sort of is. Always add a little bit of hot water to this. Just add some oats. I've got an apple right here. After combining all of the ingredients, I usually let the breakfast sit for 10 minutes just to give the oats enough time to hydrate. And honestly, I think it just really adds to the flavor of it all. Beyond an energizing breakfast, I like to prepare my materials for when I study, so I like to place bookmarks in all of my relevant books for uni. You need a ribbon that's maybe 10 centimeters longer than your book, then some tape to place the ribbon on the back, and then suture the end of the ribbon so it doesn't fray. Then next up, a study snack on the savory side, which was on another day, but it's essentially just pesto and cheese. Welcome back. I just made this stir fry with chestnut mushrooms, a block of tofu, one red onion, some leek, and also celery, like the root celery, not the green one, and then a lot of thyme and a little bit of tomato and miso paste went in here, just to give it an extra aroma, depth, whatever. And some mustard and pepper and, well, salt, of course. So yeah, I'm having this with some whole wheat spaghetti. Hi everyone. I have you sitting in front of my laptop where I'm watching Winx Club just for some additional study motivation. And then I'm going through lecture slides because I have exams starting next week. And I'm sitting in front of 408 slides right now that I already did a practice exam that I passed. And because it's not a graded exam, it's just either you pass or you fail. I don't want to stress myself out too much, but I thought this would be a really nice review of all the things that we touched upon on the lecture. So I'm about to do that. So I really like lighting a candle, and I studied. I think lighting a candle when you study is just easier on the eyes, especially with my computer and my tablet. The warmth of the candlelight really helps everything. And then I think once I've gone through the slides, maybe even just half of them, I'll take some notes. I have this little notebook that I DIY'd back in October. And I have my lecture notes in here. So a study update for everyone. I actually went through all of the slides. It took me 45 minutes and now we're down to 247 slides. And now I'm just going to email the PDF to my laptop because I can make a summary on my laptop much quicker than on my tablet. I might get a little study snack. Yeah, I made chocolate pudding. I'm actually going to get that. And so I've got a chocolate cookie and chocolate pudding. My next study snack was savory again, so some sourdough bread with pesto, cheese, some cucumber to snack on. And then after a few hours of studying, I needed a sweet snack. Making some chocolate and vanilla swirl muffins as a little study snack. Look at how pretty these look in the oven. I'm especially excited for those two in the back. So this is what they look like right out of the oven. And I think I'm going to start with taste testing this one. This isn't as pretty as the others, but still come on, there's the chocolate. I used 180 grams of flour instead of my usual cake batter, which is 130 grams of flour. So this just turned out really nice, I think. Everyone, so my breakfast today consists of, well, 3 eggs, which might be a bit excessive, but you know, I've still got to study and I just need the protein. They make me happy. One of my muffins, probably. This is like some espresso with milk added to it, and this is peppermint tea, half of which I've already drank. And yeah, this is a sliced up pear, I think you call it a pear. And then I'm just going to add some sesame seeds and salt on top. This was the day of the exam, and I'm a big stress eater, so I was munching away at my breakfast whilst going through the notes again. Hi everyone, I hope you can see me sort of. I've got my exam in like 30 minutes, which is, you know, why I'm getting ready. Oh well, I get very bad testing anxiety, which is why I've tried to like distract myself with getting ready. I put on like a really cute top, I did my nails, my makeup and everything. I don't think you can see it on camera, but I'm shaking. Study snack dinner, I'm making those traditional German dumplings filled with veggies and some pork, which I rarely eat pork nowadays. I think those are the only pork thing that I actually eat currently. But then some leek, celery, and a string of parsley, I think you call it. I didn't add any salt because those are already pretty salty. I didn't make them myself. But now I've got to cover it and let it simmer for 10 minutes. So I got some of my mushroom tofu bolognese. I'm going to blend that up because I did it yesterday and that really freshened it up a bit. This is what dinner looks like plated up. So the bolognese sort of turned into like a creamy mushroom soup situation. And then I've got the fresh leek, some parsley, and the dumplings. Sort of, hi everyone, I look a bit crazy, but I'm going to take out my rollers. I've had them in for about an hour. This was before my second exam, but when I really want to force myself to sit down and study instead of laying down and, you know, going to sleep, I put in hot rollers, which make it essentially impossible to sleep. I think Mina Lee was the one who initially introduced me to hot rollers because, I mean, she has much shorter hair than I do, but they look magnificent. Morning everyone, so this is some vanilla porridge with fresh blueberries on top, peppermint tea as always. Then I've got a pumpkin spice espresso americano. I don't know what to call it properly, but it's basically just coffee with pumpkin spice. And then I've got some blueberries to snack on during the exam. I'm in much brighter spirits, or lighter spirits, I don't know what you say to this in English. The exam, in my opinion, went quite well. There are 31 tests and I'm very sure that I got 25 entirely correct. And even with the others, I know that at least the basic information on it is correct, so I'm very happy about that. Once you give it a little brush, you can see that from the hot rollers, the hair does look really shiny. You can put any like setting lotion or so in it. I just have heat protectant and hair oil in it, which is not going to like hold the shape insanely well, but you know, as you can see, it still manages to get the job done. Hi everyone, I'm making Welsh cakes today because I found this wonderful recipe online, and I'm just going to start by melting some butter. You need half a pound of butter, so about this much. So now I'm just going to put that on a very low heat. You need 225 grams of flour, ideally self-raising flour, but we don't have that really. So I'm going to add some baking powder to it. Okay, now you're back. Flour. I'm not sure how much baking powder to put in here, but I would go with like half a packet because that's usually what, like 200 grams of flour you need. This is what the butter looks like right about now, and I don't want all of it to melt. I just want it to be very soft, so I'm sort of stopping right here. So now it's time to use your hands. I'm about to, pour the flour in here. Yeah, I'll just do it all in one go. Now it looks like this. I'm gonna add the sugar next. Also add some vanilla sugar, just to make sure that it's tasty. So it looks very like powdery, which I've seen online is sort of what it's supposed to look like. I think I'll just add a few more salt in it. The next step is adding 1 egg or 2 eggs to the dough to bind everything together. I personally only needed 1 large egg to combine all of the ingredients into an easily rolled out dough. I just cleaned the surface and then placed a sheet of baking paper on here, and now I'm going to use flour, a lot of it, because the dough is very moist. Those are the traditional Welsh cake shapes. I really don't feel like doing anything else right now. If you don't have a roll-out pin, you can use essentially any glass or bottle that you have in your house. I just used one of my jam glasses that I had on hand and put a lot of flour on top of the dough because you never want your dough to stick to the rolling pin. In my experience, once that happens, everything is going to be messed up. So this worked quite nicely, as you can see in this little time lapse. I was very unsure as to how thick or how thin the dough was supposed to be rolled. Is this like the correct thickness of a Welsh cake? And I decided to just go for it and see how the Welsh cake would behave in the pan. So this right here is officially my first Welsh cake ever. So here we've got our Welsh cakes. I forgot to vocalize it, but as you can see me by nodding in this video, I really like the taste of the Welsh cake and the thickness of it was adequate. I've tried the rest of the batch. I'm definitely going to bake them again very soon, but they took me a week to finish. Here are the Welsh cakes that I made earlier today, and then what I've just been doing. My mom always has kefir crystals, and I took some of them with me last time I visited her. And ever since then I've been making my own kefir, and I've always liked it. I usually just store buy it, but this is very easy, so now I've just got to clean them and then, fill a sterilized glass with fresh milk. So I put on some light green eyeshadow, and I think it looks really cute, especially with the pink that I'm wearing. And I think I'm going to try and wear like a bit of colorful eyeshadow out in the next few weeks, months. I want to finish this video with a very nourishing meal, which in my case is homemade gravy and some chicken nuggets. The exams that I studied for in this video went really well, and I really hope your exams do too, so thank you for watching, everyone.